The restaurant is called Ethelred's. It is not the kind of restaurant that announces itself. It has no sign on the door, no name on the awning, no indication to the passerby that behind the unmarked black door on a quiet street in the West Village lies one of the most exclusive dining experiences in New York City. It has been there for 17 years. It has a waiting list of 11 months. It has a chef who trained under 3 Michelin-starred masters, and then decided that he wanted to cook food that would not be written about, not be photographed, not be Instagrammed, not be anything except eaten and remembered. It has a policy that diners must leave their phones in a locked box at the door because the chef believes that attention is the most valuable thing you can give to food, and that phones are the enemy of attention. It has a clientele that includes actors, politicians, hedge fund managers, and the kind of quietly wealthy people who do not appear on any list because they have paid to not appear on lists. The maitre d' is named Augustus. He is 73 years old. He has been at Ethelred's since it opened. He has a face that looks like it was carved from wood, the face of a man who has seen everything and is surprised by nothing. He knows the name of every person who walks through the door, the preferences of every regular, the secrets of every patron. He is the keeper of the door, the guardian of the silence, the person who decides who gets in and who does not. He has been known to turn away billionaires and welcome poets, to refuse a reservation from a celebrity, and offer one to a stranger who walked in off the street and asked politely if there was a table. He is not a man who is impressed by money. He is a man who is impressed by presence. The waitress is named Elena. She is 31 years old. She has been at Ethelred's for 3 years. She is the kind of waitress who is invisible in the way that all good waitresses are invisible, who moves through the dining room with the specific economy of someone who has been trained to anticipate need before it is expressed. She does not hover. She does not interrupt. She does not make herself the center of attention. She is there, and then she is gone, and then she is there again. And the diners do not notice her until they need her, at which point she appears as if by magic. She is also, in the particular architecture of her life, a former classic scholar. She studied at Oxford. She was there for 6 years, from undergraduate to doctoral candidate. She specialized in Latin and Greek, in the literature of the late Republic, in the poetry of Catullus, and the philosophy of Seneca, and the history of Tacitus. She was on track to become a professor, to write the book that would establish her reputation, to join the ranks of the small and brilliant and underpaid people who spend their lives translating dead languages and making them live again. She was good at it. She was very good at it. She was the kind of scholar who could read a fragment of a lost text and reconstruct the surrounding pages, who could identify a quotation from an obscure author in a footnote in a book that no one else had read, who could recite entire passages of Virgil from memory and make the hexameters feel as alive as anything written in the present tense. She left academia because she was tired. She was tired of the smallness of the world, the particular smallness of a field in which the stakes were publication and the rewards were tenure and the currency was footnotes. She was tired of the pettiness of the department, the way the scholars who loved dead languages could not stand to be in a room with each other, the way the love of the text had curdled into a love of hierarchy and status and the small triumphs of academic politics. She was tired of being the youngest person in the room, the only woman in the room, the person whose ideas were taken seriously only after a man had said the same thing. She came to Ethelred's because it was quiet, because the work was simple, because the stakes were small, because the most urgent decision she had to make was whether to recommend the turbot or the lamb, and because that decision, unlike the decisions she used to make, did not determine the trajectory of a career or the shape of a life. She did not tell anyone about her past. She did not mention Oxford. She did not mention the doctorate she had abandoned, the thesis she had left unfinished, the career she had walked away from. She was a waitress, and that was enough. This is the context that no one in the dining room knows. This is the context that Augustus knows only in fragments, in the way that a person who has worked with someone for 3 years knows the outlines but not the details. He knows that she reads. He knows that she is quiet. He knows that she does not flinch. He does not know why. The table in the corner is the best table in the restaurant. It is not the largest table. It is not the most central table. It is the table that overlooks the garden, the small courtyard garden that was installed when the restaurant opened, a garden that contains a fountain and a magnolia tree, and a particular quality of light that is designed to make diners feel as though they have been transported somewhere else, somewhere slower and older and quieter. The table is at the perfect angle to see the garden, the magnolia, the fountain. It is also at the perfect angle to be seen, which matters to the people who sit at it. On this particular Friday evening in March, the table is occupied by 4 people. The first is Julian Cross. He is the founder and CEO of Cross Capital, a private equity firm that manages approximately $27 billion in assets. He is 58 years old. He is dressed in a suit that was made for him in Savile Row by a tailor who has been making suits for the Cross family for 2 generations. He has the particular composure of a man who has been wealthy for so long that he has forgotten what it feels like to not be wealthy. He is looking at the wine list, which he has been consulting for approximately 15 minutes, and he is trying to decide between a 1982 Chateau Latour and a 1990 Domaine de la Romanée Conti. Because he wants to impress the people across from him, and he is not sure which bottle says what he wants to say. The people across from him are his wife, Victoria Cross, and his daughter, Isabella Cross. Victoria is 55 years old. She is dressed in a gown that cost more than most people's cars. She is wearing jewelry that is not flashy, but is very, very real. She is looking at the menu and thinking about the fact that her husband has not looked at her directly in approximately 40 minutes, that he has been looking at the wine list and the garden and the magnolia and the person next to him who is not her. Isabella is 28 years old. She is the vice president of acquisitions at Cross Capital, which means she is being prepared to take over the company, or at least being prepared to be prepared. She is dressed in a suit that is well cut, the suit of a young woman who is learning to dress the part. She is nervous. She is nervous in the particular way that people who are the children of powerful people are nervous when they are in a room full of other powerful people and are trying to prove that they belong. She is not eating the bread that is in front of her because she does not want to seem hungry. The 4th person at the table is the most important to the story. His name is Harold Whitmore. He is 71 years old. He is the chairman of Whitmore Industries, a conglomerate that owns shipping lines and media properties and a chain of hotels. He is a rival of Julian Cross and also a potential partner. He is at the table because Julian wants to discuss a merger that would combine 2 of the largest private equity firms in the world, a merger that would make Julian Cross the most powerful man in finance, a merger that he has been working on for 3 years. Harold Whitmore is also a man who loves Latin. He loves Latin the way some people love golf or wine or opera. He loves it because it is exclusive, because it is difficult, because it marks him as a member of a particular kind of elite, the elite of people who can afford the time to learn something that has no practical value and who have the intelligence to learn it well. He studied Latin at Harvard, where he was a classics major, and he has kept it up over the years, reading Virgil and Cicero and Seneca in the original, writing his private notes in Latin, reciting passages to himself when he cannot sleep. He is also a man who enjoys making people feel small. He has never met a classist joke he did not like, a demonstration of superiority he did not want to perform, a moment in which he could remind someone of their lower status that he did not seize. He is the kind of man who believes that intelligence is a hierarchy and that he is at the top of it. He is the kind of man who believes that the world is divided into those who understand things and those who do not. and that it is his job to remind the latter of their position. He is looking at the menu. He is looking at the wine list. He is looking at the garden. He is looking for a moment in which he can perform his superiority, a moment in which he can remind everyone at the table that he is the smartest person in the room. He finds it when Elena approaches the table. Elena approaches the table at the precise moment when the conversation has paused, when the menu has been closed, when the room is ready for the next thing to happen. She is carrying the wine list that Julian Cross has been consulting, and she is prepared to take the order. "Good evening," she says. Her voice is calm. Her voice is the voice of someone who has been trained to be calm. "May I take your order?" Julian Cross looks up. He does not see her. He sees a waitress, a uniform, a category. He says, "We'll have the tasting menu, and I'll take the Latour." 1982. "Decanted, of course," Elena says. She writes it down. She looks at the others. "And for the rest of you?" The orders proceed. Victoria orders the tasting menu but asks for modifications. No dairy, no gluten, no shellfish. Because she is on a diet that her nutritionist has prescribed, Isabella orders the tasting menu without modifications because she does not want to seem difficult. Harold Whitmore orders the tasting menu and asks a series of questions about the preparation, the ingredients, the sourcing, the chef's philosophy, because he wants to demonstrate that he is not just a diner but a connoisseur. Eleanor answers all of his questions. She answers them calmly, patiently, thoroughly. She has memorized the menu. She knows the sourcing. She knows the chef's philosophy. She knows the answer to every question he asks, and she answers them all without hesitation. Harold Whitmore is not satisfied. He is not satisfied because he did not get the reaction he wanted. He wanted to trip her up. He wanted to find a question she could not answer. He wanted to perform his superiority. He decides to try something else. "Tell me," he says. "The name of the restaurant, Ethelred's. Do you know what it means?" Elena looks at him. She knows exactly what he is doing. She has seen this before. The man who asks questions not because he wants answers, but because he wants to demonstrate that he has the right to ask them. "It's Old English," she says. "Ethelred, noble counsel." It was the name of a king of Wessex. Harold Whitmore is surprised. He did not expect her to know that. He had prepared a little speech about the etymology, a little demonstration of his knowledge, and she has taken it away from him. He tries again. "Excellent," he says. "A student of history. How refreshing. Tell me then, what do you know of Latin? The language of the ancient world, the language of civilization." He pauses. He is preparing to perform. "I wonder if you can understand this." He speaks. He speaks in Latin. He speaks the way a man speaks when he wants to impress a room. He quotes a passage from Virgil, the Aeneid, the moment when Aeneas is addressing Dido. He quotes it with a slightly exaggerated accent, the accent of a man who has been told that his pronunciation is good, and who believes that his pronunciation is good, and who wants everyone in the room to know that his pronunciation is good. He is not quoting Virgil because he loves Virgil. He is quoting Virgil because he wants to show off. He is quoting Virgil because he wants to make Elena feel small, to remind her that she is just a waitress. And he is someone who knows things, to perform the particular act of dominance, that is the act of speaking in a language that the other person does not understand. He finishes. He looks at Elena. He is waiting for her to look confused, to apologize, to say that she does not understand. Elena does not look confused. Elena looks at him. She has the expression of a person who is not confused, who is not impressed, who is not anything except present and attentive. She speaks. She speaks in Latin. She speaks the way she used to speak, the way she learned to speak, the way she spoke when she was at Oxford, in the seminars, with the professors. She speaks with the particular pronunciation of a scholar, the pronunciation that is careful and precise, and does not need to show off. She quotes the passage that Harold Whitmore just quoted, but she does not stop there. She continues. She quotes the next line, and the next, and the next. She recites the entire passage, The whole speech, the whole moment of Aeneas and Dido, the whole tragedy of a love that was not meant to be. She recites it from memory. She recites it the way you recite something you have known since you were 17, something that has been part of you for so long that you do not need to think about it, that the words come out the way your own voice comes out, that the Latin is as natural to you as your own thoughts. She stops. She looks at Harold Whitmore. She is not smiling. She is not frowning. She is not doing anything except waiting. The table is silent. The table is the silence of people who have just witnessed something that they did not understand, but that they recognized as significant. Harold Whitmore is staring at her. He has been staring at her since she started speaking. He has been staring at her the way a man stares at something he did not expect to see, something that does not fit his model of the world. He has been staring at her because she is a waitress, and waitresses do not know Latin. Waitresses do not recite Virgil. Waitresses do not speak with the pronunciation of an Oxford scholar. He says, "Who are you?" Elena does not answer. She is looking at him. She is thinking about the man in front of her, the man who quoted Virgil to embarrass her, the man who did not expect her to understand, the man who is now staring at her with the particular expression of a person who has just been shown that the world is larger than he thought. She says, "I used to be a classic scholar at Oxford." The table is quiet, the quiet of people who are processing information that does not fit the architecture of their expectations. "You have to understand," she says. "I don't do this. I don't perform. I don't show off. I never mention my past, but you quoted Virgil at me. You quoted the Aeneid. You quoted the moment when Aeneas says to Dido, 'I never sailed from Troy to be your husband. The gods have called me elsewhere.' You quoted that. You quoted the moment when a man tells a woman that he is leaving her, that she does not matter, that the gods have decreed that he must go. You quoted that to a woman you did not know, a woman who was serving you, a woman you had decided did not count." She pauses. "You quoted that. And I think you should know what that means. I think you should know that I know exactly what you were doing. I think you should know that the man who quotes Virgil to embarrass a waitress is not a man who loves Virgil. He is a man who loves the power he thinks Virgil gives him." She stops. She is not angry. She is not sad. She is not anything except present. Harold Whitmore is not looking at her. He is looking at the table. He is doing the rapid recalculation of a man who has just been shown that his assumptions were wrong, that the person he was trying to humiliate was not someone who could be humiliated, that the act of dominance he was performing has been turned back on him. He is thinking about the passage she quoted. He is thinking about the words that came out of his mouth. The words of a man leaving a woman. The words of a man who believes that his departure is ordained by the gods. The words of a man who cannot see the woman in front of him. He is thinking about his life. He is thinking about the people he has spoken to this way, the people he has made feel small, the people he has decided did not count. He is thinking about the particular quality of a life that is built on the belief that other people do not matter, that the only thing that matters is the performance of superiority. He is thinking about something he has not thought about in a very long time. He is thinking about his mother. His mother was a Latin teacher. She was a Latin teacher at a public high school in a small town in Ohio. She taught Virgil and Cicero and Seneca to students who would never go to Oxford, who would never become scholars, who would never use Latin for anything, except the small pleasure of understanding a language that has been dead for 2,000 years. She taught because she loved the texts, because she believed that the beauty of the words was something that should be shared, because she believed that everyone deserved to know what it felt like to read a line of Virgil and feel the hexameters move through you. She had a motto. She had a motto that she used to recite to him when he was young, when he was learning Latin at her knee. It was a family motto, a motto that had been passed down through generations, a motto that had been carved into the stone of the family home, a motto that had been forgotten by the family until his mother remembered it and brought it back. She said, "Tibi non alias." It meant, for yourself, not for others. It meant that the knowledge you carried was for you. It meant that the things you learned were not weapons to be used against other people. It meant that the life you lived was yours, and you did not need to prove anything to anyone. He has not thought about that motto in 40 years. He has not thought about his mother in 40 years. He has not thought about the way she taught, the way she smiled, the way she believed that Latin was not a weapon but a gift. He has been too busy building his fortune, too busy proving himself, too busy being the kind of man who believes that the world is divided into those who know and those who do not. He looks at Elena. He looks at the waitress who quoted Virgil back at him. He looks at the waitress who knows Latin the way he does not know it, who recites it the way he cannot recite it, who embodies something he has lost. He says quietly, "Tibi non alias." Eleanor looks at him. She is surprised. She did not expect this. She did not expect him to say anything, to show anything, to be anything except the man he appeared to be. She says, "Yes." He says, "My mother used to say that. She used to say it to me. I had forgotten. I had forgotten completely." He is crying. He is crying the particular tears of a man who has been carrying something he did not know he was carrying, something that has been weighing on him for 40 years, something that he has been running from, and that has just caught up with him. The table is frozen. Julian Cross is staring at Harold Whitmore, at the tears on his face, at the words he has just spoken. Victoria is staring at her husband's rival, at the man who is crying in the middle of a restaurant. Isabella is staring at the waitress, at the woman who made this happen, at the woman who is standing there with the particular calm of someone who has done something she did not intend to do. Elena is looking at Harold Whitmore. She is looking at the man who tried to embarrass her, the man who quoted Virgil at her, the man who is now crying because she quoted it back. She says, "It's a good motto. Your mother was right." He nods. He does not trust himself to speak. She says, "I'm going to bring your food now. The tasting menu, you'll enjoy it." She turns. She walks away. She walks to the pass-through. She picks up the plates. She begins to serve the meal. The meal proceeds. The courses come. The wine is poured. The conversation resumes, but it is a different conversation now. A conversation that has been changed by what happened. Harold Whitmore is quieter. He is not performing. He is not showing off. He is eating, and he is thinking, and he is feeling something he has not felt in a very long time. Elena serves the meal. She does not hover. She does not interrupt. She does not make herself the center of attention. She is invisible in the way that good waitresses are invisible. But Harold Whitmore cannot stop looking at her. He is looking at her the way he looked at the garden, the way he looked at the magnolia, the way he looked at the light. He is looking at her, and he is thinking about his mother, about the motto, about the things he has forgotten. At the end of the meal, he asks to speak to her. He asks Augustus, who brings him to the office, who leaves him alone with Elena. She comes into the office. She looks at him. She is waiting. He says, "I need to apologize." She says, "You don't need to apologize to me. I'm not the one who was hurt." He says, "What do you mean?" She says, "You didn't hurt me. You tried to, but you didn't. You hurt yourself. You hurt yourself by becoming the kind of person who does that. You hurt yourself by forgetting who you are." He is silent. He is thinking about the motto. He is thinking about his mother. He is thinking about the life he has built and the things he has lost. He says, "What are you doing here? Why are you a waitress? You could be anything." She looks at him. She is thinking about the question. She is thinking about Oxford and the department and the pettiness and the leaving. She is thinking about the quiet, the simplicity, the small stakes. She says, "I am exactly where I want to be." He nods. He does not understand, but he respects it. The next morning, Harold Whitmore cancels the merger. He calls Julian Cross. He tells him that the merger is off, that he is not interested, that he has decided to pursue other opportunities. Julian Cross is furious. He is furious because he has been working on this for 3 years, because it was going to make him the most powerful man in finance, because he does not understand why Harold Whitmore is backing out. Harold Whitmore does not explain. He does not explain because he does not have to, because he is chairman of the board, because he can do whatever he wants. He goes to his office. He opens his laptop. He begins to write a letter. The letter is to his mother, who has been dead for 20 years. The letter is to say that he remembers, that he has not forgotten, that the motto is still with him. He does not send it. He cannot send it. His mother is dead. But he writes it anyway, and the act of writing it changes something in him. Elena does not learn about the merger cancellation until later, when Augustus tells her. He tells her in the way that Augustus tells things, quietly, without comment. She says, "I didn't intend for that to happen." Augustus says, "Things happen. You were the catalyst." She says, "I was just a waitress." Augustus says, "You were never just a waitress." She is quiet. She is thinking about the man who quoted Virgil at her, the man who cried, the man who remembered his mother. She is thinking about the particular quality of a life that is built on the belief that other people do not matter, and what happens when that belief is broken. She is thinking about the motto, tibi non alias. She is thinking about what it means, and how hard it is to live by it, and how easy it is to forget. She goes back to work. She serves the dinner service. She is invisible in the way that good waitresses are invisible. A year passes. Ethelred's continues. The waiting list is still 11 months. The chef is still cooking the food that he wants to cook. Augustus is still at the door. Elena is still at the counter, still invisible, still serving the food and pouring the wine, and moving through the dining room, with a particular economy, of someone who has been doing this for a long time, and has become very good at it. On a Friday evening in March, the door opens. A man walks in. He is not a regular. He has not been here before. He asks for a table politely, and Augustus, who is not impressed by money but is impressed by presence, gives him one. The man is Harold Whitmore. He is different. He is not the man he was a year ago. His suit is the same, his posture is the same, his face is the same. But something in him has changed. Something in the way he holds himself, the way he looks at the room, the way he does not perform. He asks for Elena. He asks for her the way a man asks for someone he respects, the way a man asks for someone he has been thinking about. Augustus brings him to the office. He brings Elena. She walks in. She looks at him. She does not know why he is here. He says, "I wanted to thank you." She says, "For what?" He says, "For remembering something I had forgotten, for showing me something I had lost." She is quiet. He says, "I have not been the person my mother wanted me to be. I have not been the person I wanted to be. I have been the person who quotes Virgil to embarrass waitresses. I have been the person who forgets that the knowledge he carries is for himself, not for others." He pauses. "I have started a scholarship at my mother's high school for students who want to study the classics, students who are the first in their families to go to college, students who would not otherwise have the opportunity." He pauses. "I named it after her, the Whitmore Scholarship, for students of Latin and Greek." Elena is looking at him. She is looking at the man who was a different person a year ago. She is looking at the man who has changed. She says, "That's a good thing." He says, "It's the first good thing I've done in a long time. I wanted you to know. I wanted you to know that you were the reason." She is quiet. She is thinking about the motto, about the knowledge, about the particular quality of a life that is lived for yourself and not for others. She says, "Thank you." He says, "No, thank you." The door closes. The restaurant continues. Elena goes back to the counter. She picks up the coffee pot. She begins to pour. She is thinking about the scholarship. She is thinking about the students who will study Latin and Greek, who will read Virgil and Cicero and Seneca, who will learn the words that she learned. She is thinking about the particular quality of a knowledge that is not a weapon, that is not a performance, that is just something beautiful that you carry with you. She is thinking about the motto that she learned, the motto that she carries, the motto that she will never forget. TB, non alias. For yourself, not for others. She is quiet, she is present, she is paying attention. She has always been paying attention. If this story stayed with you, if you felt the moment when the waitress quoted Virgil and the billionaire wept, share it with someone who needs to remember that what you carry in quietly counts more than what you announce.